So today's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, aka the day that moderates and corporations pretend that they would have supported King in his work during the time that he was alive. Throughout the past several years, but always, one of my favorite pieces by King is Letter from Birmingham Jail. And I wanted to read an excerpt of that today because I feel like it's very fitting for the times we're in now. And then I'll add some extra info at the end. I must make two honest confessions to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers. First, I must confess that over the last few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the white citizens counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods or direct action, who paternalistically believes that he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time, and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding for the people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. I'll link the full thing below if you have not read it. I encourage you to read that, but my point is this. Oftentimes, indifference is more of a barrier than hatred. And I think now more than ever is the perfect time to question your indifference. To question how much is too much for you to speak up. To question how much you're willing to be uncomfortable to speak on things that are important. Because there are a lot of us who are at much more risk, who are putting more on the line. Not every issue is a I see both sides issue. Not every issue can wait a couple years to see progress. Not everything can be resolved peacefully. And if you are someone who's throwing Martin Luther King Jr.'s name around, I would encourage you to read his work and understand his views before you're using his name for political, social, or social media clout. Black people did not achieve liberation by sitting and being nice and being patient and waiting. And neutrality never helped the cause. And I think this piece really speaks to the fact that a lot of you all would not have supported King when he was alive. And your actions now are making that more and more evident. And now is your opportunity to stand on business. And the only thing I question you to do is ask yourself whether you're going to be an obstacle or an ally.